But first, hello, Cleveland. How do you protect the convention and the city in today's fraught political atmosphere? The head of the Cleveland Police Union, Steve Loomis, has warned they are setting up my guys for failure. Joining me now, Steve Loomis and someone with perfect past experience, former Secret Service agent Jonathan Wackrow, who's worked counter-surveillance at 7 different conventions of both parties. Stephen, let me begin with you. My understanding is I can't bring tennis balls into the perimeter surrounding the convention. I cannot bring a can of tuna. It's raining today. I can't bring an umbrella with a metal tip on the end, but perhaps I can carry an AR-15. What's going on?
That's absolute insanity to me. This is an open carry state. Most police officers generally love the Constitution and will take a bullet to defend it, as we saw, admirably in Dallas. But at the end of the day, it's not responsible. It's legal to bring your guns, but it's not responsible.
You don't want them doing it. You don't want them
not.
Exercising their quote-unquote right.
Absolutely not. That makes for mayhem. We're going to have two very passionate groups of people on the opposite sides of the world as far as ideologies go. The last thing that we need is to have anyone on either side of that armed, and that's going to make our job very difficult. As we're standing in between them. We want everybody to go home in the same shape that they came.
Your badge is draped in solidarity with your fallen comrades from Dallas. You know the reports, 20 to 30 people brought confusion to the scene because they were carrying weapons, and police officers, law enforcement, they couldn't tell the good from the bad. That's why initially there was a report of 3 or 4 who were in custody.
Yeah, and more importantly, the people that had those guns, what did they do? They ran to the nearest police officer and gave that gun up because they did not want to be part of the problem instead of the solution in that.
They're setting my guys up. What are you talking about?
Well, we have some policies. We have a lot of people that sit behind mahogany desks and look at paperwork and see what we need to do here. And when you send a 28-page policy just 3 short weeks before the convention, very, very difficult to adhere to something like that on such short notice with very little training. So that was more of a CYA policy for the city of Cleveland that the law department and everybody came up with.
Jeff Larson, who is the CEO of that arm of the RNC putting on this convention, says, hey, Loomis is not involved on a day-to-day basis. Maybe he's implying you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate because Loomis is deeply involved on a day-to-day basis with the men and women that are going to be out there in the trenches. And those are the folks that I'm listening to, and I'm listening to command staff people and supervisors out here. So Mr. Larson's not deeply involved in that aspect of it. We can all get along in this thing, but at the end of the day, the people that are really going to protect this, openly protect this, are going to be my men and women that are in uniform, standing in between 2 very passionate groups of people that we want to come here and express their opinion. Just don't
on a
pick
1
up
to
a rock.
10, your level of concern about keeping this city and this convention safe?
The potential for disaster is there. We've done everything that we can do. The men and women in the Cleveland Police Department and the law enforcement that are coming to help us are going to rise to the occasion. So my level of concern and worry is about an 8 or a 9. This is a huge event.
Well, Jonathan Wackrow, you have provided support from a Secret Service perspective for events many times over like this. I know you ran counter-surveillance in 2004 in New York City when it was the Republicans who came to Manhattan. Is infiltrating the groups you're most concerned about the key?
Well, yes. I mean, that's obviously a concern. But I think we need to take one step back, Michael, and just understand that the Republican National Convention is a national special security event. So what that means is that the city of Cleveland has the full backing of the federal government. I understand what Mr. Loomis's concerns are, but thankfully the Cleveland Police Department doesn't have to do this event by themselves. They have the full backing of the federal government, the coordination of the United States Secret Service, and all the resources that go with it. So I don't want to diminish any of his concerns because they are valid, to a point. But I think we have to look at comprehensive security planning that's been going on since August of 2014 for this event. Needs to be taken into account.
Are you working well together? Are all the different law enforcement entities protecting this convention working well together?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and he's absolutely right. There are an immense amount of resources here, mostly that you're not going to see. And again, as the president of the police union, my concern is for the uniformed members that are out there. They're going to be out there in the trenches, and life outside the gated moat isn't as rosy as it is inside the hard zone.
When you speak of the ability to protect the city and protect law enforcement at the same time, I'm reminded of the fact that there was a $50 million grant from Justice to Cleveland to protect the convention. Yeah. 2,000 riot gear outfits were part of the package. There's this ongoing national debate about the militarization of police. Some think if you give all these forms of weaponry, defensive or offensive, cops are going to want to use them. Respond to that.
If you don't, the cops are going to get hurt.
Right.
You know, that's my response to that.
Okay.
That's a ridiculous notion.
Jonathan Wacrow, how do you protect against, I'm thinking of Nice now, how do you protect against a guy driving a truck?
Well, listen, it goes back to the very comprehensive planning that the Secret Service coordinators have been doing, for well over a year. So, the Nice event, that type of tragic attack has been thought of, and it's been thought of multiple times. I mean, so from a tactical standpoint, Secret Service and their, law enforcement counterparts have looked at, high-speed avenues of approach into critical areas and have mitigated that with blocking vehicles, barriers, et cetera. So what I think is really important today is for everyone to understand that there is a very comprehensive, multi-layered security protocol that's going on in place in Cleveland right now. What we can't get distracted by are these last-minute attacks worldwide. Those things have been thought of beforehand. I think right now it's taking that comprehensive plan and now executing it with our partners such as the Cleveland Police Department.
In other words, Jonathan, you don't think that the attack in Nice would have caused any changes in what's being provided here in Cleveland? That eventuality, the possibility of that eventuality, would already have been thought through and dealt with?
Absolutely. One of the greatest aspects of the Secret Service coordination for any national special security event is that comprehensive planning, is the contingency planning for every type of event, whether it's an active shooter, whether it's explosive, chemical, biological, civil disobedience. They have gone through this line by line and have thought of and tabletopped a lot of these concerns and mitigated it through different types of actions, whether it's overt police uniform presence or covert counter-surveillance operations. The Cleveland Police Department, they are on the outer perimeter. They are the first line of defense to anything that's coming here. But also, they stand shoulder to shoulder with Homeland Security investigative agents, Secret Service agents on that outside. And collectively, this is going to be a safe event.
Jonathan Wacrow, Steve Loomis, Godspeed.
Thank you.
Good luck
much,
this week to you and all of your men and women.
Yeah, they're going to rise.
We
to the
appreciate
occasion,
you.
I'm sure.
Appreciate you very
sir.
much.